Hello and welcome to the Business of Influence podcast brought to you by Style ID Africa. My name is Leroy Marc and this is the podcast where we give you the news, the views, the reviews and the interviews and everything you need to know about the world of influencer marketing. Now, social media, the growth it's had over the years means that content creators and influencers have become the new celebrities. They get access to all the VIP events, they make hundreds of thousands of rands on campaigns and they have millions of fans following them. However, we know celebrity has a dark side. And this dark side often affects their mental health. In studio today, I've got three panelists going to help me talk about the whole person economy, whether or not the mental health of content creators came at a viral cost. So please welcome in studio Hakeem Lesolang, Makungu, Valoyi, and Gugulethu Nyatshumba to chat to me about mental health in this world we call social media.
Are you listening?
Welcome back to the Business of Influence podcast brought to you by Style ID Africa. As I promised, in studio I have Hakeem, Gugulethu, and Makungu chatting everything about this world of influencer marketing and how it's affecting our mental health. So the three of you are experts, right? So I'm just going to sit back and let you guys have the discussion because you guys work in the industry. Yeah. I'm just a participant. Although my mental health is very questionable most times. But let's start from your side, Hakeem. Yeah. You've observed and worked in the mental health space for a long time. You and I met many, many years ago. Yeah. What is your first instinct when you see young people taking part in social media and posting? What is your first response as a professional in the space?
I think... Oh, thank you for having us. Thank you for having us. It's a beautiful place and a beautiful space you guys have here. I think my first instinct is, and has always been, are we protecting our valued assets? Or are our valued assets know how valuable they are that they need to protect it? You know, and because I've seen so many cases where, as you know, come from the music industry. I was raised in the music industry practically. And the many cases that we've seen where valued assets or assets of value have never been protected mentally, emotionally, we lose people. You know, we lose people to things that are avoidable. We lose people to things that, you know, can easily be resolved if that value is held. Yeah. You know, if are there compassionate witnesses to what people are going through silently and in dark corners and places and spaces at 3 a.m. in the morning, who's listening to this person, who's advising this person, who's guiding this person. And I'm almost like a father, almost like a big brother wanting to protect these kids because it's a lot that's happening.
And I find that every day we find a brand new version. You know, I was saying earlier on that I'm a millennial and Gugu, as a millennial, things are so much simpler. Like all my indiscretions are nowhere to be found because there was no social media. There's a memory card somewhere in my drawer, I'm sure, that has all my thunder.com images, but there's none of that. But you're a participant in the creator economy, but also you're a professional in this economy. And, you know, Hakeem speaks about being the asset, you're the stock in trade, but you also need to be seen to be perfect and to attract all the brand deals.
Yes.
Are we sitting at a weird middle ground now where we're actually at like the Rubicon, where we're almost impossible for you to fulfill both and not lose yourself in some way?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think it changes per person and obviously per creator. I'm just very fortunate in that I have met my audience with a lot of honesty. Okay. I don't put the pressure on myself to be perfect. And I think that's actually what my content is about, not being perfect, not being okay. Vocalizing that, you know, also inviting your community to support you. So I really like what you said there about, are we protecting the assets? Yeah. Who are you off of the screen? You may have all of these thousands of supporters and followers and all of these comments, but who's holding you once you turn off your social media platforms? So I do think it's one that's really tricky. I think if you don't prioritize taking care of yourself, it's very easy to lose yourself in this space. I also do think that brand opportunities put a lot of pressure on creatives because we need the money.
Yeah, no, the cash is
we
important.
need the money in each job, you know? And and I think with every opportunity, every job, there'll be things you like and you don't like, right? But it's about making sure that you still feel centered enough and that the things that are working for you are truly working for you and that they're not stripping away from you. So I would also say it's about choosing which opportunities make sense.
Yeah.
How much of yourself are you giving? How much are you getting in return as well? What is it costing you? Because it does cost you something at the end of the day.
For me, it's very interesting because in the opening segment, I said that because of just how big social media is and where the first screen we have, I mean, there's more cell phones in this room than there are people, right? And then if you have any one of these things, there's double the number in the room. And we know what the opposite side of celebrity is. We've seen it happen in front of our eyes, right? We can name the celebrities, local, international, who have fallen off, who have, gone the wrong way, who found themselves in the wrong crowd, substance abuse, etc. But Makungu, I'm very interested because then the definition of community is very different from what it used to be when you were a celebrity, because you could still keep your circle, right?
Yeah.
Like I could be like, okay, there's the four of us and I'm on TV somewhere. But here, literally, you can post something, your community interacts with you, they give you immediate feedback, negative and positive, and you don't stop being yourself, right? Because you are constantly on. And I'm interested in the idea of community, because you work in the community space a lot, Makungu. What is this new definition of community doing to our mental health? Because you used to be able to go out into your community.
Thanks.
Now your community, as you
It's
wake up
with
at 3 in
you.
the morning and you are here, community.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like what Gugu mentioned as well, to know yourself. Because the online community is different from my in-person community.
Absolutely.
And I think when you're able to identify and differentiate that, then you'll be able to navigate it better. For example, if you're going through a tough time, I'm going through a tough time, it's not necessarily that the online community is where I will find the support, because they might not know the nuanced way to engage with you, the person, versus the way they would engage with you as a brand. So I would say that, especially knowing that this is my online community where I've gotten followers, I can engage with them on topics, and we laugh and we cry and all those things.
Lots of crying.
But at the same time, we also need that warm body to say, this is actually who I can go and ask for advice, even with taking care of your child, even with things at work. These are the people that can stand in for me. These are the people that I can drop off my child with. Those are the community that we are speaking about when we speak about mental health specifically. Yes, you can meet people online and make friends, and then it eventually translates to in-person community. But an introvert, I'm using it loosely, someone who might spend their time alone, can think that they have 25,000, 100,000 followers, but actually they've never engaged with someone in a week. Right? So it's important to know that online is where I put my phone up, I speak to my phone, and then thousands of people engage with my phone, but not with me, the person, where they get to see Makungu, who loves, who's quirky, and all the other things, and get to support me in those times. So I would say that acknowledge your online community, because it like this podcast, we're going to engage, and people are going to learn from it and take it to their real or warm body community, where then we sit and talk and actually navigate these things together.
But I find that we don't have the discernment, right? Because we are sitting in a room now where, I guess also because we're professionals in our own right, we know the pitfalls. But think about someone who, the gateway and the barriers to entry to popularity are completely shattered, right? Like I can do something silly right now and I could have 100,000 views by dinner time. And Hakeem, we've chatted before about the fact that there's so much graft that goes into building your brand before we got into this space, and for it to be a reputable brand, and for you to be able to be someone who's held in high esteem. But right now there seems to be this constant chase of wanting to almost the gratification quickly. Look at the content creators who are making bank right now. These are mega celebrities. You've got people who've got 3, 4, 5, 6 million followers, million with an M, right? That means that if I sneeze, at least if we take 2% is the normal engagement rate for, so if you've got someone with 2 million followers, that's tens of thousands of people who are talking to you. Are we just too plugged in for us to be able to almost discern that? Because remember, what we're chasing right now is not just the bag. I mean,
we want the bag.
Multiple bags my way.
This economy.
But in this economy, but we I mean, again, going back to the fact that you guys are professionals, you guys have worked hard, you've built brands, you've got architecture behind it. Someone can be popular tomorrow and then have to keep up that virality.
Yes.
So now Nwile, and that was funny and you all liked it, I need to continue this thing because I'm going to fall off. And the turnover rate is just so big. So what do we do to make sure that we don't lose ourselves in trying to chase the next?
I think it's my answer would be idealistic in that in creating content, you don't chase virality.
Okay.
I think you build your audience, you build your content style, you build your delivery, you build your brand, because we've seen cases where it's just one time and you go super viral, but there's no follow-up. Right? There's no follow-up. And the community's here now. You've got the millions of followers. What do you do with them? Right? And then like the next video, it doesn't pop off like the last one. And then it takes a toll on your mental and emotional well-being. So I think a gradual build-up in building your community, a gradual build-up in building a brand, in having a voice, in knowing that you represent something reputable that's going to feed you today or tomorrow. You know, I think in self-respect as well, like just having the self-respect to say that I need to protect whatever it is that I'm doing. I need to protect this, but I need to protect myself more. That discernment needs to come in very early. You know, and I hope we're able to teach it to the young ones. We're able to teach it to our peers as well. That discernment really goes a long way in helping you build something solid and something stable. Because without that stability, it's just going to be this video and that video, and
but see, men don't have that. You see, because even the examples of who goes viral in our communities are people who are doing things that are actually very dangerous, right? It's the guy who's, you know, big cars, making money, with lots of women partying all night. And that's not a bad thing necessarily, but, you know, I mean, you speak very much about sort of mental health and the stuff below the sort of behavior, the fact what's really happening from a physiological level, from a neurological level. But sometimes I think because of what goes viral, we go, you know, I mean, we'll see what happens when we get a gig, because, you know, and without trying to disrespect people who've come up this way, but you've seen people who had, you know, sex tapes come out and then they've leveraged off that, or they've had a fight with someone, or they've had a relationship that's gone awry. I often see people's faces on my timeline. I'm like, angwazi ukuthi ubani, and they're like, oh no. Gugu dated Leroy, and then Leroy was Makungu, and then Hakeem, and they fought, and then Hakeem stabbed, and like, how did this all happen? So, you know, when do we then look at, oh, this is just a passing phase, or this is actually a neurological mental health issue that we're dealing with here, because we can't diagnose it because social media is so new, you know. When do we start actually going, actually guys, this is not normal, when everything is abnormal?
I think having an objective eye and ear as to what's happening in the social media sphere, being objective in terms of knowing that this is not normal. Normal doesn't look like this. It doesn't function like this. It doesn't behave like this. Because a lot of what happens on social media is not normal.
Yes.
It's not normal.
Yes.
It's curated. It's the algorithm feeding you a certain programming. Right? It's feeding us a certain programming, and then we go in that we go with the trend. It's like, you know, you go down the river, you go down the stream, music wise, you go down the stream, right? In terms of like following what is popular, and because what's popular makes bank. Right?
Money makes money.
So you need to discern. You need to differentiate between what is real and what is not. Because if it can't feed your mom on a sustained basis, if it can't feed your child on a sustained basis, then it's not normal. It's a once in a blue moon thing, you know. And I think like just having the wisdom to differentiate between the two, like what's real life and what's not.
Yeah, and I think we need to also make sure that we realize that once your phone is off and the data is off, this whole world ends. And when we come back, Gugu and Makungu, I want to chat about burnout then coming from that, because I mean, you are in your community, we are used to you, we love your conversation about uncomfortable growth, and we're expecting you to come in and give me a nugget of information to coalesce and empathize with me, but I forget that you're a human being who has the same 24 hours that I have. And what does that mean for us as creators who feeling like, okay, like I need to do this all the time. I need to do this all the time. You know, I keep saying to the guys that I did a whole fitness thing where I was did High Rocks. I finished it. By the way.
Congrats!
Yeah, no, we'll discuss because
Yeah.
and now I'm running, but I also feel like sometimes I don't want to run, and I go, but they're waiting for me to post, and now I'm running in the middle of the cold because I'm trying to make sure that the Tuesday morning post comes up. So that and more when we come back on the other side of this. So please stay tuned. Welcome back to the Business of Influence podcast, still brought to you by Style ID Africa. Still in studio with Hakeem, Gugulethu, and Makungu, speaking everything mental health and the world of influencer marketing. So, ladies, before we left, I was chatting about how we talk about burnout, especially in this industry. And Gugulethu, I'll start with you because you, first of all, apart from being an entrepreneur and an advocate, you're also a content creator, right? And you have a whole community that's coalesces around you. But you're also a human being. Like, when do you turn the lights off? And what do you do when you feel like, and I was explaining earlier on when we were off air that, like, I had to go running the other day because I've now got an expectation that people want me to run a particular day. And I was really not feeling it. It was cold. And I went out there to go be the hero that I wanted to be. And, I mean, it's a small couple of hours of my day, but that was something I wasn't doing because I wanted to, and it actually is an effect on what I was doing for the day. How do you keep yourself from almost performing to that crowd because you know that they're almost waiting for you to post and for them to engage?
I'm going to piggyback off of what Hakeem was speaking about just a little bit earlier. I think understanding your why is very important as a creator. For instance, yes, trends will get you the money, they'll get you the views, but like we said, there's not much longevity in that. And I know that creators really they despise like small beginnings and not having the views. But I think that if you're being intentional and you're growing some sort of community, people need to know what they're going to be getting from you. So don't despise the posting of maybe even 10 videos and not having the views that you want, because when someone does find you, we have a clear picture of what it is that you bring to the table, what kind of content you produce. And I think that will alleviate a lot of pressure. But again, I understand there's a game to it, right?
Yes.
You want the numbers and so forth, but I think you need to fully understand why you're on the platform and who you're doing it for. In regards to burnout, I think that if you are not okay as a creative, then there's no point in pushing yourself to those limits, because your audience will feel it as well. You know, people fall in love with us as personalities, and if I am not maybe like my best, for instance, people can pick that up as well. So I believe in working to or with my strengths. I bulk record, for instance. I no longer do the thing of like, oh, it's gonna come to me this week, I'm gonna record, because the chances of that happening are very slim.
And you're busy.
You're busy, and now it's a bad week out of the blue, and you don't have a video. So I really try block out times where I say, cool, Monday, Tuesdays, I'm doing 4 or 5 videos, and then I know I'm sorted for the rest of the time, because we are human beings and things do pop out. When I am burnt out, I disappoint everyone. My community knows this about me, and very well. I say with a lot of pride, but I'm not proud of it, but I really do value myself and the relationship I have with myself. And I come first. My real life is the life. You know, social media is secondary. So I think it is okay to not show up on some days. It is okay to maybe start a series and take a break and come back. If you have put in the work, like I said, if you have work behind you, people know what you stand for. They know what they're getting from you. So when you do come out, again, it's like, okay, cool, she's in a better place. She has the energy for this. They're more receptive to that.
And I think also it makes the depth of the community so much more like intense, because if we know that as a creator, when you're not okay, you can come back and say, guys, there was these things happening and I needed to do this for myself. I feel more connected to you because I'm like, okay, so you're just having the same day I had, right?
Yes.
Because apparently Mercury is in Powerade, Renegade, Gatorade, Retrograde. And so we're all having the same week. But I'm interested in what that means from a content creator and as an economy, because we don't see burnout as something that is okay, right? I mean, I used to work in the legal field, and you having 17 cups of coffee was the mark that you're doing it, eh?
Yeah.
Your Leroy left at 4 a.m, he's back at 7. He's killing it. Oh, you've got 5. And what we don't talk about, ne? I'm going to get on my soapbox now, is people look at this and it looks amazing. It looks amazing. You're so busy because you've got so many brand videos to shoot, and the platforms are paying you so much, and you've got so many. And Hakeem, you're speaking everywhere. You're on a flight. What does Lady Gaga say? Party, plane.
Yes. Next cloud.
Next cloud. You know, and they all. It looks good. But I think there's something deeper that we're missing there about why do we think that this validation is so important that I'm willing to risk burnout, where we can see your eyes are bloodshot. We can see you're exhausted, but you're still like, hi guys, welcome to my channel. Sing Figile, what does that mean from a burnout point of view? Because it can't be sustainable, surely.
No, it's not. And I also echo what Gugu mentioned about burnout and misalignment, because when you are misaligned to the work that you're doing, it's going to show up over time. You're not going to be internally motivated, meaning that you'll probably want external validation, and then when it doesn't come, you don't know why you're doing the work that you're doing. And even with burnout, it's actually a workplace phenomenon. So it's not necessarily a mental illness. It's tied to the work that you do. And it's when someone is experienced or exposed to long-term stress that is not managed. So the deadlines, the no sleep, the content, the work after work after work without a place where you recuperate, that's actually where you get to burnout. I like to explain it using an elastic band. So an elastic band's purpose is meant to be stretched. We tie money, we tie objects, right? But eventually it's supposed to also go back to its normal form because it has to maintain its elasticity. But the moment an elastic band is stretched without going back, without a place to rest and recover, it snaps or it loses its elasticity. So as much as we are doing the work, doing great things, we are pushing, when you are stretched without a place to rest and recover and recuperate, that's when you actually run the risk of burning out.
I think I like the idea of returning back, because I think not enough of us realize that what you see online is me being stretched, as in going out of my comfort zone, doing something, and then I go back to rest. But so I'm gonna tell our secrets. So in the break, we're talking about disappointment. Okay. And I want us to discuss that because I think it's a very interesting conversation about what it means to disappoint. So Hakeem, you had a very interesting, you started the conversation off with disappointment, and Gugu agreed, and Makungu agreed fervently with you. And I think it's one of the things I'm struggling with, but I don't know anyone, especially in our demographic, who is young, black, trying to make a buck or two in this industry legally. Legally.
Keyword.
Because there have been times I've been tempted.
The invitations are many.
So tell me about this idea of comfort and disappointment.
So I truly believe in the idea and the practice of disappointing people's expectations of you, because it's two blades that come out there. One is you truly see who's in your corner and you see who isn't. Right? And then you get to see how you process who's in your corner and who isn't. You get to see what that triggers inside of you, what memories are being brought back, which I wanted to actually come back to. Why do we overperform? What are the motivating factors? What's in the background? What's in the background that we're running away from something? And we're running to something because we're running away from something. We don't want to disappoint people. We perform for people. We people please because we are afraid of not belonging. And social media, you belong. You created your own economy. You created your own community. You created these people that understand me, that love me, that see me, that hear me, that understand me, and that validate why I am this caricature, or why I'm this person, or why I'm in this skin. Our fear of not belonging, our fear of not being seen is informed by the things that happened to us in the past. And those things are hardly ever processed, they're hardly ever released, they're hardly ever healed. That's why social media is so appealing, because it's a distraction away from ourselves.
It's almost like a drug because it's unregulated in whose hands you can have this
it's an addiction
thing. Because
we are addicts.
And I mean, I just think about how I can feel my phone vibrating. Like, it's not on me right now, but I can feel it vibrating because we're so...
We have phantom reactions.
And I think you said it best, that because what Gugu has done, if I may so bold as to speak on your behalf, is you've almost codified the disappointing people into your content. So disappointing is not a bad thing. It's just saying, I'm not making this appointment. I'm disappointing myself from this expectation. So yes, I know I've got an expectation that you have of me, but I'm not coming today because I need to take care
It's me first.
of me first, which is complicated then, because remember also, again, going back to the idea that social media is free and the democratization of content, anyone can create content. And what does that do, for instance, to young content creators, to content creators where mom is handling the social media account, to people who are popular or get virality for not necessarily the most positive things. I need to give you a caveat for that. You find people who are poverty, they creating content because it's a day in their lives, and we fetish and we the poverty porn. And now when they start working, people go, we liked you better. Now you've learned a bit more, and now you're almost alienating us, right? But again, because we've created an expectation, and this is where the brand deals come from. And we all want that brand deal. We want to be part of the 5% who's earning above 100K. What happens then? Because this is not only about disappointing people, it also has a direct financial implication to me. In my lead.
Yeah, I think it also ties to what you value, knowing thyself, because if I know what I value, regardless of who I disappoint, I'm always coming home to myself. But if I don't know what I value, then I will want Leroy to validate me on social media, and that's where I can lose myself. Because I would also say it's healthy to have expectations. For example, we promise to meet up, you're there at 3. But there's a certain extent to which now I disappoint our agreement, and then it's now a breakdown of relationships, work, and I lose even the brand deals I'm working for. But the moment that you are misaligned to what you value and you find yourself having to uphold something that is different to who you are, for example, I'm creating content, poverty-related content, people are liking it, and I might value sharing my story. Now my story changes. Now I'm living in the suburbs. I've made it, right? And now people don't like my content. If I am aligned to what I value, which is sharing my story, then I'll continue. Then I'll get a new audience. But if I'm misaligned and I'm doing it for external validation, then when people don't follow me, I'll go back somewhere, find something, and then try shoot there. And now it's no longer the content that I am aligned to, but it's based on what people want me to produce.
And it's this very funny middle ground that we find as South Africans in particular, where once we move sides and people go, Hakeem I liked him when he was doing R&B, hey? Now he's rapping. It's not his thing, but we also preach authenticity, right? We preach about, we want you to be your true self.
Yes.
Let's go back about the culture then of being, let's be kind, be your true self, mental health matters, and all the hashtags that have happened. What are we doing or needs to be done from a systematic point of view? Because we've now laid out that there is actual issues there. We know that there are actual things that we need to be doing from an infrastructural point of view. But no one is telling us where to go and how to moderate it. I almost want you to give me your thoughts as if you're telling someone who hasn't gone through the pitfalls that we've gone through and seen other people go through it, and then have refined themselves to go, okay, this is what I want to do. But I want to almost have it as a warning sign to someone to say, listen, prioritize these 4 things, and then what should we do from a systematic point of view? I like what you said, Gugu, about you shoot Monday and Tuesday, clear for the week. And you might have a team that takes your content and does what it needs to, and you're not engaging with it yourself. Makungu, you could say to me that you refuse to do these 5 sectors of the economy because they are not aligned to who you are, etc. What do we do, Hakeem, to start putting the building blocks? Because my worry is this industry is growing rapido, right? At last count, I think we're saying 6.5 billion people in the world, and of the people who are on social media, it's 1/6 of that. So you've got more than 1 billion people posting every day, on the day, every hour, on the hour. There's a lot going on, and every year it grows. I mean, in South Africa, 52% of people have social media in some form. It's not going to get less.
I always advise that you have systems. Journal what does your ideal life look like? Right? What does your ideal life look like? What is it going to take for you to live that life, right? And live it sustainably. like Gugu was saying, she shoots Monday, Tuesday, she bulk shoots, right? If that's something that's going to work for you, start doing that. But also have a circle of advisors who can guide you when you're out of sync with yourself.
Yes.
When you're out of sync with yourself, when you're out of sync with your schedule, when you're out of sync with the plan for what that ideal life looks like, you can be called to order, you can be, get reared back into line.
Yeah.
Right? So circle of advisors, ensure that you trim your circle of influence. So the circle of influence is the friends. You're going to evolve.
People who are influencing you.
The people that are influencing you, your thinking, your way of being, the way you show up, the way you respond to life. Your circle of influence is very important because it could dangerously keep you exactly where you are. We're gonna fetishize the poverty content. And then when you evolve past that, when you because you're going to be exposed to so many things because of the content, because of the brand deals, because of this and this and that. Your circle of influence has the danger of keeping you where you are, or evolving you to where you want to go, matching that vision for yourself.
Yeah.
So manage that circle of influence. Have a circle of advisors that is guiding you past where you are.
Sounds to me that you need to have in the real world people who are holding you accountable so that you don't go looking for it.
Yeah, I always tell
there.
people don't go to the doctor to come and fix your pipes.
Yeah.
Have a plumber.
Yeah.
Have the right people in place in your life, and don't be afraid to reach out to them. They're waiting. I always say, successful people are waiting to make more people successful.
Absolutely.
Because they don't want to be the only one that's there. So reach out to people, grow that circle of people that are going to advise you to grow beyond what you know. Because that's really where you want to go. That's then when everything that you're working for, everything that you're working towards becomes really sustainable.
Absolutely.
That's how you systematize a lot of these things. So your week looks a certain way, and it's building up to this image of yourself.
And also you work as a business.
Yeah, work as a business, absolutely. Respect yourself to work as a business, because then the world is going to respect you.
Because you're the stock in trade.
I think Hakeem mentioned most of what I wanted to say, but it really is about finding a rhythm that works for you.
Yeah.
I think sometimes content creators come out and say, hey, this is my schedule, my routine, this is how I do it. And we're so tempted to take to that because we see it be successful for them. So I think, build a routine or a schedule that applies for your life, that works for your life. But also, I think having real people in your corner is the biggest blessing.
Yeah.
You know how in relationships they say that you can't, it's not about two half-full people coming together, but it's like two full people coming together, complementing one another. Social media is not there to fill you up. You need to go having been filled by your real people, by your community, by whatever fills you up, and you're sharing. That's the overflow, right? That's us being stretched. I'm in a good place. I have something to say. Let me share. Woohoo! Let me excite everyone. And then you come back, and you have your people who can say, Gugu, great job. I love what you're doing. Oh, you know what, friend? Maybe that's where I lash. Let's regroup. I really believe in
and be able to take
community.
it when
That's another one.
but be able to take it.
You're right. But I think that's why when we're speaking about this community and the real people in your life, it's not many people. It's a handful of people.
Yes.
Right? There are people that you look up to, maybe also inspire you as well. People who are aligned with you so that when they do speak, it doesn't feel like it's out of turn and that they're just looking down on you.
Yeah. And I think you can see the people who don't have that advice.
Yes.
It's the people when their work gets a bit quiet, there's a scandal that needs to keep them with the talkability. And you don't even have to ask. You can go, oh, she's training again. She's releasing an album. Just wait.
And I even, I agree. I think it's also to understand what social media is doing for you.
Yeah.
Because I think it appeals to us on a biological level, right? For example, if I'm scrolling, it's appealing to my dopamine. But then realize that the problem is the mindless scrolling, where I'm almost it's like a slot machine. I'm scrolling, looking for the right video, and 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour later, I haven't found the perfect video and I've been scrolling. But really being intentional to say, actually, I enjoy social media because I learn from it, but I'm going to be intentional, spending 10 minutes maybe when you log on to a certain app, and I'm going to engage with the content that I see so that it's not mindless scrolling where I'm just scrolling, even as a creator yourself, knowing why you're doing the content, and then it's almost like this is my area, this is my little corner, but I still go back to my normal life. But if I don't know why I'm doing it and I just continue, then it's going to continue appealing to you because it is, but
Very
then
appealing.
you don't know then how to engage with the healthy forms of dopamine, like running,
Yeah.
like spending time in the sun, engaging with loved ones. Those are also natural ways, but they are also, I would say, more work.
Yeah.
It's not as easy as scrolling.
Yeah.
So when you know that, okay, this is what social media does for me and the benefits I get from scrolling and engaging, then you can also separate it and say, okay, I've spent my 5 minutes, my 10 minutes.
Moving on now.
Now I'm going to spend some time in the sun.
Yeah.
And I'm going to talk to a friend. Yeah.
And it's
And
discipline.
I do want to say that comes off as very boring to some people, right?
Yeah.
Because social media is also playing with our, attention span.
Yes.
So we're seeing something for 10 seconds. And I like what you said about looking for the right video. I think social media is constantly moving the goalpost,
Yes.
right? At first you looked at this video, you like this, cool. But now it's like, oh no, but she didn't say it the way that I would have said it.
Yeah.
Or she doesn't have this, or she doesn't have that. And you're constantly nitpicking and you're never going to find exactly what it is you're looking for.
And sometimes you're not even trying to find the right one.
It's
You're,
not.
The act of going, oh, what a terrible dress.
Yes.
I like her hair. And you're just spending an hour criticizing people sort of
Yes.
mindlessly. Like, you know,
I was going to say that it's discipline to like knowing what social media is doing for you. Right? Okay. When I create, social media is doing for me.
Yeah.
Knowing what social media is doing to me is when I'm consuming.
Yes.
Right? It's when I'm consuming, and what it's doing to me is I'm going to be this mindless scroller on social media. I'm going to be a perpetual consumer, and my life is basically going to be reliant on an algorithm that is never going to fill the hole that I'm trying to fill.
Yeah.
So what's better then? I know how I feel when I've wasted the 1 hour or 2 hours on social media. I know what it feels like to not be disciplined. I know what it feels like to have my KPIs. Those who treat ourselves with the respect of moving like a company. I didn't meet what's required for me to meet in order for me to make whatever it is that I needed to make financially. When you can see how it affects you, and I pray to God you never get to that point where it's affecting your finances, then you can take stock and say, okay, cool. I do want to consume social media, but is it good for me? Is it healthy for me? Is it productive for me?
Yeah.
Is it actually building me a life of success? You take stock of that and you say, okay, I need to feed me. I need to nurture me in a way that's going to, when I touch my phone, when I hold my camera, then I produce more content because that's the work that works for me.
Yeah. Right? And I think what we for me, the takeaway from this segment is that you actually need to get very comfortable with disappointing people.
Yeah.
Because the number of people online and whose opinions they are, you can never meet each and every one of them where they need to be.
And the opposite of that is with you being comfortable with disappointing people, you need to be very uncomfortable with disappointing yourself.
Absolutely.
Very uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
It needs to terrify you to disappoint yourself because you're teaching people how to treat you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
You're
Google said,
teaching
don't
everyone.
disappoint your mom.
Yeah, right.
Don't disappoint your mom. Of all people, don't disappoint mom. When we come back, I find out from my guests what they're doing with their lives and also a little tidbit into their lives and what they're doing as they make this wonderful world of social media an amazing place for us. So stay tuned. Welcome back to the Business of Influence podcast, brought to you by Style ID Africa, in our final segment, chatting everything about mental health. And I'll say to you, I'm going to chat to my guests about what they're doing. We'll start with you, Gugu. You're doing a podcast.
Yes.
With Assist You.
Yes, yes.
Tell me what was the reason why you started going into, the podcasting space, but also about, talking to people in their 20s, which is, y'all are a problem, but hey.
So I started, the first platform I had was Uncomfortable Growth,
Yeah.
which is my YouTube channel.
Yes.
And I started that in 2020. And the reason I did so was because I had just been diagnosed with depression.
Yeah.
And I decided to take a leave of absence in my final year. With the diagnosis, trying to figure out what that meant and my own feelings and how to navigate that conversation with my Black parents.
Yeah.
Who took me to school to get a degree.
I love that. With your Black parents. 'Cause what you don't understand is Black parents are different kinds of parents.
They're both different.
Yeah, they're really both different.
Yeah, and I think because of how society and life has treated us, our parents want us to succeed, and that's very understandable. So I needed to try and navigate that conversation, and whilst I was trying to do that for myself, I started recording videos.
Okay.
And then I started posting them, and people were relating a lot more than what I thought they would. And that's when I realized, okay, cool, we're all trying to navigate the space together. And funny enough, through my community, they told me to start a podcast. You see, when you're aligned with your community,
And your community aligns with you.
they see things for you. And they said, Gooks, why not start a podcast? And I did. So my platforms are extensions of one another. I'd like to think of my podcast as a space where I can speak more freely
Yeah.
about the things that I'm dealing with. But yeah, it grew from my YouTube channel. And yeah, I think at the time I was also really hungry for that kind of content, and I wasn't finding it locally.
Anyone else, yeah.
Yeah, so I thought there's a gap in the market, why not try myself
And I think
out?
it's so beautiful that we're also able to use this platform as a place for us to find our healing.
Yes.
I think what also helps people is that realizing that healing is not linear.
Yes.
So when you see someone going through something similar, you go, okay,
Yeah.
so it's not just me.
Yes.
And it looks different to you, but at least I can hang on to those nuggets. But Hakeem, you are almost like we see we've got questions. You want to answer. So you're kind of writing a book called Healing Black Trauma.
Yeah, man.
How many pages in are you? Because I
It's-
can give you
it's
3 or 4
in.
chapters.
Please. So I'm writing the third book, Healing Black Trauma, because I really think it's indispensable. The last 7-10 years of helping people heal from trauma, overcome difficult things that happened to them in the past, of many different kinds in the Black context. Like that context is lacking, and I think when people know how their bodies have been affected by the things that have happened to them and how we still carry that emotional charge.
We're literally walking pathologies.
I swear to God.
Yeah.
Right? I think once you understand it and once you know what to do with it, then it makes your life and your relationships better. You know me, I love Black love. My favorite thing in the whole entire world is Black love. I'm doing every single
200
thing.
truths about love. What's the
Absolutely.
other book? Go buy it.
Every single thing that I'm doing is for the success of Black families, Black men and Black women falling in love with each other, building successful marriages, raising trauma-free babies.
I live for a future where the babies are trauma-free.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the goal. That's the goal with Fola. Also, Fola is going to be launching his flagship clinical practice next year.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Because
Call
we've been
us.
online. We've been online since COVID, which it works. You can still book your sessions online until we open the flagship.
After what happened with the current president of the United States and how that impacted health and just the plethora of the gap it opened up, this is fantastic.
No, look, it really affected me, like the geopolitics of the world really affected me, what's happening in Gaza and Palestine, really affected me emotionally, mentally, and like I stopped producing content entirely. And now that we're back at it, we see a huge need for people to get to a place where they can like say, you know, unplug me. Unplug me for an hour, please pull me out. Let me actually reconnect with myself. And I think that's where a lot of creatives and a lot of entrepreneurs can come through. A lot of professionals in this country need that kind of
you know, I just had a light bulb moment that I doom scroll but on YouTube because like I literally consume so much content from that president and I'm constantly talking back to the screen, and it comes back to what you were saying about like I have to go to the sun and get out because what we're doing.
Get the sun.
Yeah.
Get the sun. Also come to Fola so we can like,
so we can sort me out.
so you can like process all of those things out, because you know that like you're literally rewiring your mind with all of those dopamine hits. You're rewiring your mind, and life looks very unsatisfactory when you're dealing with real people in real time because you want that dopamine and it's not coming. Right? So that's where the stress comes in. That's where the depression comes in. That's where the anxiety comes in, because you feel like nothing is enough or you're not enough.
And you end up looking in the wrong places.
Yes, come to Fola, guys.
So now we coming by the physical clinic. Thank you. Makungu, you talk a lot about something that I think the Black community in particular, but I think which something is not very popular in our spaces, which is sort of diagnosis and assessment for the issues that we're going through. We use this umbrella term, mental health, this umbrella term, you know, emotional health, emotional intelligence, but no one talks to you about how you actually make sure you got accurate. Earlier on, the receptionist here was talking about how everyone seems to be on the spectrum in one way or another because, you know, versions of it. It's just that we never tested for it. And thinking about you now and how that's so important to you, why is it such a huge issue for you about accurately testing and assessing people?
Yeah, it's a huge issue for me to accurately diagnose, because then I can properly treat the problem. I'm going to use like skincare, because we all want something new for our skin. And someone will say, I like your skin, what do you use? And I'm like, you must also know the type of skin you have so that it works for you. I cannot tell you what I'm using. So it's the same with the diagnosing problem that we diagnose what we see on social media. Oh, I think I have that.
Yeah.
And then you go on and you treat the problem that you think you have. And it's based on a singular vision or a singular way that you saw the problem. Whereas a professional actually sees the holistic thing. And it's not only diagnosing you, but the context you come from. And even with language, we can get into that another time. But with psychiatry and mental health, a lot of the diagnosis comes from listening and understanding what a patient is saying. For example, if a patient says, I'm so bored, I know they mean they're irritated.
Yeah.
But to someone who doesn't understand, they'll think, you're bored, but didn't you have fun? The direct translation. So understanding context, understanding person-centered issues can help you to properly diagnose an issue and then treat. But if we're not diagnosing properly, if we're not getting to the root problem, which is basically we're copying what other people have. I might have that. And then you're treating something and then you might end up in more harmful situations in the long run. So, in South Africa, we don't have enough professionals to accurately diagnose. So I understand why we can copy a lot of things we see and say, oh, I think I have that. But really getting proper diagnosis can save you a lot of money, but also save you time and all the other things that come with inaccurate diagnosis in the long run.
And I think we don't think it's important enough because we've put the mental health literally equals depression. We don't think about how many other ailments and versions of mental health or unhealth you can have. And I think especially in our communities where someone, you have a conversation and you're speaking authentically from your position, and then I pick it up because I have no other resources, which again goes back to how we function in front of the camera and on our podcasts is because of what's happening in the background. It's because of what we're experiencing. I cannot thank you guys enough.
Thank you for having us.
It's been a very short hour. Thank you for your patience, your candor, just bringing all yourselves to the conversation. I look forward to having more chats, and you're going to come visit. Please, I'll bring the cameras with us and we can have vision too, panelists, But I think, as a content creator myself, and I always talk about how we need to remember that this is oxygen. This is just air. This is not a real place. It's all curated. In the same way there's lights and cameras and microphones, even here, there's things that are put together. It's not natural. And my favorite word of today is disappoint people. But don't disappoint yourself.
You will save yourself from a lot of headaches.
Disappoint yourself. Don't disappoint me though, because you must like, comment, and subscribe. And watch, repost, reshare, because I think many people in our community need to have more of these conversations. My big thanks to our guests, Hakeem, Gugulethu, and Makungu. And thank you for tuning in. I'll see you next time.
Are you listening?